Game 2 of this 3-game series with the Brewers. D-backs spirits getting a real test lately, a 6-game losing streak, and now A.J. Pollock is on the shelf. Time to turn things around with Zack Greinke on the mound tonight. It's the D-backs and the Brewers on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The news is in on A.J. Pollock's injury suffered here last night. It's an avulsion fracture of his left thumb. He's out, Bob, 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, obviously not good news. Gerard Dice and Chris Owens for the time being will share playing time in center field. We know Steven Souza Jr. could slide over there if necessary. David Peralta can also play center field. So defensively, you feel like you have the position covered, but with the way the offense has gone lately, this is a huge loss.
And an avulsion fracture means a small part of the bone gets torn off with the ligament. AJ will not require surgery. That's the good news, but you're looking at 4 to 8. Zack Greinke gets the start tonight. Bob, he's been excellent lately.
Yeah, he's been really good. I mean, he's having an outstanding season, but especially his last 3 starts against the Dodgers, the Astros, and the Nationals, throwing the ball extremely well. A 3-2 record could be a lot better. 53 strikeouts against only 6 walks.
Zack Greinke for the D-backs. Yolis Chacin, the former D-back, goes for Milwaukee. And the first pitch is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By APS. APS works 24/7 to keep you plugged in, powered up, and connected. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Roberts, Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. And by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. A beautiful night here at the ballpark. Good night to watch Zach Greinke pitch against the Brewers on Fox Sports Arizona. First pitch coming up. Degrees at Chase Field. Welcome in, Steve Berthew, Bob Renly, and Kate Longworth with you. It's game 2 of a 3-game series. The D-backs and the Milwaukee Brewers. Craig Counsell's club 8 over 500. They lead the NL Central over the Cardinals and Pirates by a game. And here's their starting lineup tonight. It's presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Lorenzo Cain will once again lead it off out in center field. Christian Yelich getting the start in left field tonight. Jesus Aguilar will be down at first base. Travis Shaw across the diamond at third. Domingo Santana out in right field with Jonathan VR at second base. Manny Pena doing the catching. Orlando Arce at shortstop, and former D-back right-hander Jhoulys Chacin on the mound.
Well, May has not been kind to the Diamondbacks. Only 4-9 this month. Now they're without AJ Pollock for the next 4 to 8 weeks. So they'll turn to the stopper to stop this 6-game losing streak. Zach Greinke, a Ram Truck starting pitcher. 3-2 with a 3.70 ERA, and he's pitched very well lately, giving up just 4 runs in his last 3 starts.
Yeah, arguably coming off his best start of the year against the Nationals. Went 7 strong innings, gave up only 1 run on 4 hits in that game, did not walk a batter.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense tonight.
Chris Owings getting the nod in center field tonight. David Peralta will be in left. Steven Souza Jr. over in right field. Infield will be Daniel Descalso at third. Nick Ahmed at short. Ketel Marte at second. And Paul Goldschmidt over at first base. Jeff Mathis, as usual, behind the plate for right-hander Zach Greinke.
Yeah, we'll see a combination of Chris Owings and Jarrod Dyson in center with A.J. Pollock injured. There's Alan Porter calling the balls and strikes. He's our plate umpire tonight. Jamie Rehacks at first base. Bill Miller, crew chief at second. And Todd Tishner is our third base umpire. Time now, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, it certainly sounds like a cliche, but it's never been more true than right now for the Diamondbacks. Next man up with A.J. Pollock going down. You'd like to think that the combination of Dyson and Owings, and as I mentioned, Souza Jr. can play center. David Peralta can play center. They've got it covered defensively, but need some guys to step it up offensively.
Lorenzo Cain stepping up, and we're set to go on a gorgeous Tuesday night in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Milwaukee playing well away from Miller Park. They're 15-8 on the road. Cain 284 and 5 home runs. That slider is right there at the bottom of the strike zone. 0-1. Kane 0 for 4 with a walk last night. That snapped a 5-game hit streak. Missed with a fastball inside. It's 1-1.
And as usual for Zach Greinke, the strike zone is going to play a big factor in his game. If he's getting a little bit off of one edge or the other, if he's getting a low strike or a high strike, he will go back to it. We've seen him do it with several different major league umpires who are willing to go a little bit off the corner. He'll take advantage of that. We'll see how Alan Porter calls his own tonight.
Jeff Mathis, as always, behind the plate for Zach Greinke.
Should be the hard change up here.
Yeah, didn't want the fastball there. Got the change up, down and in. 1-2. Christian Yelich, who had a couple of big at bats late in last night's ball game, gets the start in left field tonight. Right to Ketel Marte at second base.
Left fielder, number 22, Christian Yelich.
So here is Yelich, 299 and 3 home runs. Couple of late singles in the 7th and 9th innings last night. Had an RBI, stole a base, and scored a run. More of a shade, really, than a shift against Yelich. Ahmed, the shortstop, almost right behind the bag at second. Marte back of the outfield grass. Taking all the way, looks at the slider. What happened there, Hank?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, maybe Christian Yelich has faced Zach Greinke often enough that he knows that if Zach's ahead in the count, he's not going to throw me a strike. So he was just going to take that next pitch, and Zach threw it right down the middle.
Fastball away. Jesus Aguilar, the big first baseman, on deck. Waved at a changeup, and Zach gets his first strikeout.
Very odd at bat there for Christian Yelich, just kind of easing into the game, taking the good ones and swinging at the bad ones.
So here's Aguilar, 313 and 3 homers, 0 for 5 last night. He had a lot of trouble picking up Patrick Corbin's slider.
Patrick had him talking to himself in that right-handed batter's box last night.
Struck out in his first 2 at bats. Corbin finished with 8 strikeouts, but got his first loss of the year. Fastball right down the middle, 0-1. There's a fly ball toward the right field corner. Steven Souza Jr. runs out of room. Not a whole lot of steps once you cross that foul line in the corners in this ballpark.
Boy, and Steven Souza Jr. going full speed as he gets over near that foul line. We know there's not a lot of foul territory. Goes hard into that padded wall.
Let's take it easy out there tonight.
Please, please.
Such a shame to lose A.J. Pollock the way he's played. Player of the month and then player of the week. But they did it last year. Still won 93 games with A.J. on the shelf for much of the year. Yes, he went. Jeremy Rehak down there rings him up. 2 strikeouts for Greinke. D-backs coming up. The freight train, David Peralta, sent to lead it off against your Ram truck starting pitcher for the Brewers. It's the right-hander Yoelish Chacin. 3-1, the ERA right at 4. And the Brewers have won each of Chacin's last 5 starts.
Sinker slider guy. He has an occasional curveball, occasional four-seamer up in the zone. He used to throw an occasional changeup, but basically a sinker slider guy needs to keep the ball down to be effective.
Chacin briefly a D-back couple of years ago. Here's Peralta, 288, 7 homers. That 0 for 4 last night snapped a 7-game hitting streak. Missed with a fastball away. David ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Chacin likes his slider. He's throwing it about 40% of the time this year, more than any other pitch. That was the fastball, and Peralta knocks it into left center, leadoff single. Here's the D-backs lineup. That's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Good start by the left fielder, David Peralta. Chris Owings will be out in center field. Daniel Descalso at third base. Paul Goldschmidt slides down to the 4 spot tonight with Steven Souza Jr. playing right field, batting 5th. Cattell Marte at second base. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Jeff Mathis doing the catching, and Zach Greinke on the mound.
Well, CO once again pressed into center field duty by an AJ Pollock injury. Saw that a couple of years ago. 209 and 2 homers.
How about a little shock and awe tonight? Knock a starter out in the first inning.
I'm in.
Put crooked numbers up on the board. Everybody can take a deep breath and just relax.
I think this team could really use exactly that. A chance to just take a breather.
Yeah, there just haven't been a lot of games where the Diamondbacks were either up by a lot or down by a lot, where you just kind of cruise to the finish line and come back and get them tomorrow. Every game has been hotly contested. Every at bat has been so key. Every inning pitched by the pitching staff.
Everybody's grinding.
Yeah, just not much margin for error right now. I think everybody's feeling it.
There's that Chacin slider. 2-1 on Chris Owings.
Diamondbacks have scored in 104 innings this year, but they've never scored 6 runs or more in a single inning.
Yeah, as you pointed out a couple of times lately, a lot of 1-run innings.
64 one-run innings out of the 104 run scoring innings the Diamondbacks have had this year.
You know, when they get like a bases loaded chance, they'll get a sacrifice fly, score 1, but you don't get that big crooked number. They have scored more than 4 runs in a game, only twice in their last 16 games. Everybody's been on a taco diet lately. That's no good.
Losing weight.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Maybe not.
Little squib shot gets under the glove of Chacin. VR has to hurry, and they just do get Chris at first base. Peralta moves up.
Very close play. Nice play by Jonathan VR at second base. He had to deal with the base runner David Peralta cutting in front of him. The pitcher kind of got in the way a little bit. Still made a nice scoop and throw just in time to get CO at first.
There was a little shoving there between the shortstop Orlando Arcia and David Peralta once they get into the second base bag. I assume they were just joking around, but keep an eye on that. Here's Daniel Descalso batting 3rd tonight. There's a rare Chacin changeup. Daniel 264 homers. VR at second, backs well up with the outfield grass. Arcia right behind the runner Peralta at second. Wow, 2 changeups, a pitch he does not really throw a whole lot at all.
Yeah, that's probably his 4th best pitch, or at least 4th thrown pitch. A lot of fastballs, a lot of sliders, an occasional curve, but that changeup is something he rarely uses.
Tried it a lot in spring training, but just never really did pick it up. 3 in a row, and it's 1-2.
He's got a new toy.
He's gone off the menu here.
Well, those are the kind of things ideally the guys in that third base dugout are pointing out. Hey, he's throwing a lot of changeups here to Daniel. This is something we haven't seen from him before.
There's the slider, and Todd Tishner says yes. First strikeout for Chacin.
Got out there a little bit too far.
So here's Goldie in the cleanup spot. 2-11 and 4 home runs. Torey Lovullo telling us before the game today, just wants to give the lineup a different look. Anything to get Goldie going, especially now that AJ's down. And with Pollock out, this gives you a little more length in that lineup. Looking back to Alan Porter, who got the inside strike call for Chacin, and it's 0-1. Goldie batting 4th also gives Torey a chance to split the lefties at the very top of the order. Last night it was Peralta, Descalso 1 and 2. Tonight you've got the right-hander Owings in there between the two. They were facing a lot of left-hand relievers late in games, those guys back to back. So you split up those lefties up top and hopefully get you some more thump in the middle of the order.
And make it a little tougher for Craig Counsell to match up late in the ball game. If you're stacked up right, left, right, left, right, left, it makes it really tough to go to that bullpen and try to match up with each one of those hitters in key situations. Of course, with Josh Hader down there, you don't really need to match up.
They have a wipeout bullpen back there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Were you encouraged by some of the swings and some of the passes on the ball that Goldie took last night?
Yeah, I mean, even going back the last 4 or 5 ball games, he's hit some balls right on the nose. If there's one thing that's a little concerning, he's still swinging through a lot of what we call hittable fastballs. It's easy to say they're hittable from up here in the press box, but pitches that we've seen Goldie handle with ease in the past, he's been swinging right through, and we haven't really seen him pull a ball with any kind of authority. But he is driving the ball to the opposite field. He has hit some balls hard right at defenders.
And he takes a walk as Chacin misses with a low fastball. And here's a chance for Steven Souza Jr., who had his first RBI as a D-back in the ball game last night.
Alan Porter saying that's a mound visit. Manny Pena only walked out to the edge of the infield grass, and Chacin came a few steps off the mound, and they kind of yelled at each other, but Alan Porter caught it and called it a mound visit.
That's a big part of that new rule, exactly where the visitation takes place. They're watching it closely. Two on and 2 out for Souza. Here's the slider 0-1. Souza had a pair of hits, including an RBI double last night. His first extra base hit and RBI as a D-back. Fastball's in, 1-1. Lee Chassine's previous start last Thursday at Coors Field to open this Milwaukee road trip. He beat the Rockies, gave up only 2 runs on 4 hits, went 5 1/3. This is skied first base side. Aguilar. Chassine strands 2. We'll head to the second. No score. The D-backs and the Brewers.
Experienced little injury added to insult last night as they lost A.J. Pollock 4 to 8 weeks with an avulsion fracture on his left thumb after suffering the team's 6th straight loss. But according to Steven Souza Jr., the team has not flinched, and he said the credit goes to Paul Goldschmidt. He said he remains cool, calm, collected, and confident, and he said that for the team to see their leader unfazed by what's going on helps them keep calm. He also said that Torrey addresses the team win or lose the same way, and that helps the team be reminded that they are not being judged on this stretch of 6 to 10 days, but it's the overall picture come September.
That's a great point, Kate, especially considering Goldie going through a difficult time of his own. Travis Shaw, the third baseman, leads off the Milwaukee second. Shift is on for the D-backs, and that one's fouled and out of play. Travis Shaw, 240, leads the Brewers in home runs and runs batted in. He walked and struck out twice last night. Drives it to center. Chris Owings. Oh, CO, top shelf. Just tall enough. At least he didn't have to dive. Big smile out of Chris right there.
Well, we talk about it all the time. The toughest play for an outfielder is that line drive hit right at him. CO comes in a couple of steps and then has to get up to keep that one from going all the way to the wall in center field. Good hops.
Right in the top of the webbing. Domingo Santana fouls that one away, the right fielder. Well, Chris has certainly been out there before, about 50 games 2 years ago when AJ had that elbow problem. Santana 266 and a homer. Drove in a run with a fly ball last night. The AJ injury, Bob, really another case of the D-backs being able to say, hey, we're built for this. They've turned Chris Owings into a super utility guy with already plenty of center field experience. Gerard Dyson was added in the offseason. So the reserves are ready. Next man up, as you said, change up from Greinke. 2-2.
It's obviously something every team would like to avoid over the course of the season, but the reality of Major League Baseball is you're going to lose some players over the course of a 6-month season. Sometimes short periods, sometimes long periods, but you always have to have a backup plan, and certainly at least defensively the Diamondbacks feel like they have center field covered.
Missed the corner down and away. It's full 3-2. You were already without Shelby Miller, lost Taijuan Walker and Robbie Ray. Jake Lamb's only played 4 games all year. Now AJ Pollock is down, but still in first place atop the NL West. Called strike 3. Fastball is in there. 3rd strikeout for Greinke.
Just powers that fastball down below the knees right there. They get the call from home plate umpire Alan Porter. As I mentioned earlier, if Zach Greinke finds out the strike zone is going to be expanded anywhere, he's going to exploit it.
The second baseman again tonight, Jonathan Villar. 3 hits last night. 282 and 2 home runs. Curveball misses low. Villar had that home run in the 9th inning. Singled twice, scored 3 runs, and stole a base. Not a bad night for a guy who wasn't even in the original starting lineup. Put in there after they scratched Ryan Braun and moved Perez out to left. Braun still with a back problem. Another Greinke changeup.
Those surprise starts, you see it happen a lot with a pitcher where you get to the ballpark and the starting pitcher that day has got a cold or he's sick or whatever, and they bring in one of the relief pitchers to start and they go out there and dazzle. Well, last night was Jonathan Villar's night to dazzle off the bench.
Got that fastball up and in, but it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Zach unbeaten here at Chase Field this year. 2-0 in 5 starts. Outstanding in his home park last year. 13-1. Andy Pena, the catcher, would be next. 2 outs, 2-2 on Villar. Wouldn't bite on the changeup. Full count. Zach pitched very well in his previous outing last Thursday against Washington. Only 1 run allowed on 4 hits in 7 innings. He struck out 6. That's after he held the Astros to 1 run in 5 2/3 in his outing previous to that. A slow curveball. Nice high hop for Goldie. 6 up, 6 down for Greinke. No score at Chase Field. Bottom 2 at Chase Field. D-backs and Brewers no score. Let's take a look around the diamond at the Brewers defense tonight. That's brought to you by E.B. Marshall Jewelers.
Outfield would be Yelich in left, Kane in center, Santana over in right field. Across the infield, third to first, Travis Shaw, Orlando Arcia, Jonathan VR, and Jesus Aguilar. Manny Pena doing the catching again tonight for right-hander Jhoulys Chacin.
Ketel Marte leads off the D-backs second. 230 and a home run. Ketel singled and walked last night. The bat is really showing some positive signs recently. He's hit safely in 6 straight games. There's a chopper back to the mound. Chacin underhand toss. Aguilar's got a hustle over there. And they get Marte. Here's Nick Ahmed.
So he very nearly beat that out. Aguilar got to the bag, but his footwork was off just a little bit. Had to take a half step to get to the base in time, and Marte very nearly beat that out.
Nick 217. He's got 6 homers. Knocked in a run with a fly ball last night. Chacin will be very consistent 90 miles an hour with that fastball. Not a whole lot more than that. And there's that slider that he likes so much. He'll mix up the 4-seam and the 2-seam sinker. But mostly everything comes off that slider. But he's been pitching very well lately. Brewers are unbeaten in his last 5 starts. And during that stretch, he's gone 3-0. And only once has allowed more than 2 runs in a game. Fastball is low and it's 2-2.
As a general rule, Chacin is one of those guys that's usually good for 5 innings. He rarely goes much more than that. Pitch count catches up to him many times. A pretty good year last year in San Diego. Got a 2-year contract from Milwaukee. Left center field. Yelich drifting over there. Former Gold Glover. 2 down in the second.
Catcher number 2, Jeff Mathis.
Jeff Mathis behind the plate tonight for Zach Greinke. This is Jeff's first game since last Thursday's series opener against Washington. So it's been a while. Here's the slider, 0-1. Popped up foul ground first base side. Aguilar near the Brewer dugout. And it's out of play.
Partner, you know that none of the 3 catchers for the Diamondbacks would ever use it as an excuse, but you have to start to wonder if maybe the sporadic playing time is affecting the offense of the catchers. Alex Avila just can't seem to get on track. John Ryan Murphy's hit some balls hard but doesn't have much to show for it, and Jeff Mathis struggling along offensively at the plate.
Breaking ball, and Chacin gets his second strikeout. We'll head to the third at Chase Field. We asked him about his teammates.
Yeah, you know, he's a great dude. Not like Archie, obviously, but he's a great dude. Robbie's a very funny dude. Very sneaky funny dude. Just overall great dude. He's very smart dude. T-Dub, great dude. Love him. Yeah, they're just great dudes. Overall great dude. Great dude. Steven Souza, great dude. Very good dude.
Dude, that is awesome. That is the quintessential Jimmy Sherfy right there.
Funny.
That's exactly what he's like in person, and he is a lot of fun. Manny Pena, the Brewers catcher, starts the third. He's a good dude. 6 up, 6 down so far for Greinke. He's got 3 strikeouts. Swing and bunt. Athos is on it, and they retire Pena to start the third. Jimmy Sherfy's just got that California dude thing going.
Laid back. Nice play, dude.
And that's one of the things Torrey really likes about him, is because you put him in a big spot late in the ball game and he's just out there being a dude.
Yeah, low heartbeat, doesn't seem to get too excited about the situation, regardless if he's got traffic on base or an all-star at the plate. That doesn't seem to matter to Jimmy.
Orlando Arcia, the Brewers shortstop. Slow slider from Greinke. Arcia 218 and 2 homers. Another slider missed, 1-1.
The very first pitch to Arcia in this at bat was the first pitch that Zach Greinke has thrown in this game that touched the middle square on the hot zone. Everything has been around the edges and around the bottom of the zone.
Look out! That one almost clipped Greinke. Marte cleans it up. We'll check on Zach. Flexing that back. Remember, the back was a problem a few weeks ago.
Well, that ball was smoked back up the middle.
Dude.
Just kind of threw the glove up in self-defense that time. Got his head out of the way. Fortunately, Marte, Johnny on the spot right up the middle of the field. Look out.
Ugh.
I mean, if Zach doesn't make a play on it, it wasn't meant to be played.
He's got the gold gloves on the mantle to show. Alicia Chassin, the pitcher.
Now, this is just where you want Chassin. Nobody on base. Believe it or not, he's 4 for 11 lifetime against Zach Greinke. That's a .364 batting average. A lot of hitters would take that.
So taking him for beat the streak. The way I'm going.
Can't do any worse, I guess.
Exactly right. Start taking pitchers. Chassin's ahead 2-0. Look out. The home run swing. That was right out of the George Boomer Scott playbook.
Swing hard in case you hit it.
Helmet coming off. Spinning around. Peralta will play it on a hop. And you called it. Jhoulys Chassin, a 2-out single, the first base runner against Greinke tonight.
5 for 12 lifetime against Zach Greinke.
Told you should have taken him for beat the streak.
Yeah, probably should have. Sounded like he hit it right off the end of the bat. Got a handful of bees. Getting some laughs from Carlos Sobera and Goldie down there at first base.
Here's Lorenzo Cain, who grounded out to lead off the ball game. Fastballs just off the plate, 1-0. Seen a lot of sliders so far tonight from Zach Greinke. He made a lot of progress with that pitch in his previous start, getting some swings and misses with it. That was it right there, 2-0. He's admitted the slider hasn't been great this year, better than it has been last week. But he's not had a whole lot of success locating that slider for much of this year, like we just saw. Had to go to that changeup a lot more often. Fastball's right there, 2-1.
Kind of surprised the Diamondbacks are even holding on Chacin down there at first base. He's getting about a 3-foot lead off the bag, and Kane doesn't hit a lot of balls on the ground to the right side, but I'd still rather see Goldie playing behind and getting back in a better defensive position. Chacin's not going anywhere.
Hit hard to short, right to Nick Ahmed. They get the force at second. We'll go to the bottom of the third. No score, the D-backs and the Brewers. Finish. Watch the slide into home plate by Tampa Bay's Adeiny Echeverria in Kansas City.
Well, we know that quick hands are an asset for a baseball player, but sleight of hand I don't think I've ever seen. He fakes with the right hand, gets the left hand on the point of the plate. Look at this.
This angle right here.
Pretty creative right there.
Beautiful night to be at the ballpark. Just gorgeous and comfortable down here. The roof of the outfield panels wide open for business. The D-backs and the Brewers. As the pitcher Zach Greinke leads off the home half of the third. It is just beautiful here tonight.
We're talking about pitchers hitting after Chacin got the first hit against Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke over his last 3 starts is 4 for 6 with 2 doubles and 2 driven in.
And don't forget the stolen base.
Yeah.
Remember that the other night.
Probably ought to be hitting higher in the order.
I bet he'd do it if you asked him.
Oh, sure.
He's just an athlete. He was a very good tennis player when he was a youngster growing up in Florida. Greinke immediately asked for an appeal. How about that? Ask him. I didn't go. Here's the Chacin slider. 1-2. David Peralta led off with a single. He's got the D-backs only hit. Fastball off the plate. Greinke chase. Third strikeout for Chacin.
Hey fans, the D-backs home run tonight means a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Here's Peralta. David last night had his 7-game hitting streak snapped, so he's already started a new one. Mention him sort of jostling with Orlando Arcia when David was at second base in the first inning. They are buddies, in fact, both from Venezuela. So they were just down there horsing around. Brewers last night had 5 Venezuelan players in their starting lineup, in fact. One of David's tattoos, you can't really see it there. Under the sleeve is a beautifully done Venezuelan flag on his bicep. You can sort of get a peek at it right there. That red. That means a lot to him. Sliders fouled back toward the screen. Pena gives it a look, but it's out of play. Diamondbacks trying to turn things around. Stuck in a 6-game losing streak. They've lost 9 of their last 12. And today we've learned we've lost A.J. Pollock with an avulsion fracture in his left thumb. He's out 4 to 8 weeks. He will not, however, need surgery. That's good news. See the third baseman Travis Shaw way out there in front of second base ump Bill Miller. Boy, Chacin has been showing that changeup a pretty fair amount tonight. 3-2 with Owings on deck. He's only thrown that pitch a handful of times this year. And this is already his 10th start. Peralta shoots it out toward the right field corner, but Santana has it. 2 outs.
You know, talking about Chacin throwing all those changeups. He's got a reputation as a guy that loves to challenge lefties with that fastball. He'll throw a lot of sliders to the right-handers, but maybe going against the grain here, figuring that the Diamondbacks know him pretty well. They've seen a lot of him. They've checked all the reports. They've checked all the spray charts and everything on Chacin, and maybe he decided it was time to switch things up a little bit, throw some more off-speed pitches.
CO grounded out his first time up.
Talked about it in the past when Dave Duncan was a pitching coach for Tony La Russa in St. Louis. You used to see that a lot from Cardinal starters. You look at their game logs, and one start they'd throw a lot of fastballs and a lot of straight changeups. Then the next time you'd see Adam Wainwright, he'd throw a lot of curveballs and a lot of 2-seam fastballs. And then the next start he'd break out the curveball and the 4-seamer. They seemed like they always switched up the game plan from start to start, so you couldn't really bear in on one pitch or one sequence of pitches.
Roller to third. Shaw's got it. And we're through 3. No score from Chase Field. D-backs and Brewers. Doing the Carlton here at the ballpark. No score, D-backs and Brewers. D-backs ballpark summer pass is back. Get a ticket to 40 home games this year for only $80. It includes big games like Star Wars Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, and more. Now, there are limited quantities, and they are going very, very quickly, so you have to jump on this. Get online, dbacks.com/summer. One of the best deals in Major League Baseball. 40 games for $80. It's like buying a subway pass. You ride whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Every home game in June, July, and August.
Yeah, if you can't make it, give them to friends. Great gifts.
Christian Yelich, who struck out his first time, leads off the 4th.
A nice reward for a job well done. Somebody does you a favor, you say, hey, I appreciate that. Here's a couple of tickets. Go watch the Diamondbacks win a ball game.
I like it. Enjoy the air-conditioned comfort of Chase Field. Everything's open tonight. Beautiful, comfortable night here. That's chopped foul, and it's 1-2. Tell you what, when this ballpark is like this, on a night like this, our terrific Arizona weather, this is just a great place to be.
Good as it gets.
Sun going down out there, downtown Phoenix. Roof and outfield panels all open up. Yelich, Aguilar, and Shaw 2, 3, and 4 in the Brewer 4th. Milwaukee's only hit so far a single by the pitcher, Yoeli Chacin. Deep to center, Chris Owings on the run at the track. CO, it's off the glove. Yelich is in at second with a double.
Just what you expect from Chris Owings. A great effort. That ball is smoked to the gap in left center field. He had a long run to get there. A diving attempt just off the tip of the webbing. Oh man, nice try.
So Yelich gets his 3rd hit in the series. He's at second to start the 4th. Here's Aguilar, who struck out to win the 1st. Aguilar 0 for 5 last night. That snapped a 5-game hit streak for him. Got a piece of that changeup, and it's 1-1.
You just wonder about the thinking of Zach Greinke out there on the mound, or any pitcher for the Diamondbacks right now. Lead-off double, you've got a base open. And normally you'd think about damage control in this inning. You're facing the teeth of the Brewers' order this inning. You've already got a runner at second base, nobody out. Maybe you start thinking damage control. Okay, maybe they're going to get one against me this inning, but that's it. But since the Diamondbacks have struggled to score runs, Zach Greinke doesn't even want to give up one.
And we've talked about how much pressure that has put on the pitching staff, the bullpen in particular. Well, Zach has done a great job of that, Bob. Gave up just 1 run against Washington Thursday, and before that, 1 run against Houston. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jesus Aguilar. And those last 2 starts by Greinke coming after he struck out 10 Dodgers in a win over LA. So he has been very effective lately. Can't get together on the signs with Mathis. Now, normally this would be where you just jog out to the mound real quickly and have a mound visit, but those days are gone. So we'll run through the signs again. And now they have to burn a visit.
Have a meeting.
This seems to be more of a philosophical disagreement rather than I can't read the signs.
Yeah, I think he sees the signs just fine, but he's got a very definitive idea of what he wants to do to Aguilar here. I mentioned you do have a base open, nobody out in the inning. Normally you wouldn't go ahead and put another runner on base, but yeah, maybe he feels better pitching to the left-hander Travis Shaw and doesn't really mind pitching around Aguilar right here. Not quite sure whatever goes through Zach Greinke's mind out there on the mound.
Torrey has talked about being able to see Zach think out there when he sort of steps off the rubber a bit, looks down at his feet. You can hear the computer sort of whizzing in his head based on the scouting report, based on the game plan that's been laid out for him and with him. "50 pitches, 31 strikes, behind 3-1. Wanted to change up and it's full. Well, we talked about how Greinke's slider for most of this year, he's not been able to locate it real well. A little better last time, so he might be shying away from that pitch here. Went to the fastball. Reaches out, hits it to shortstop. Ahmed is there. They got him on the slider after all. One down.
And not only got him to chase that slider, but got him to pull it, and that forced Yelich to hold his ground at second base. Wasn't able to move up to third with one out in the inning.
Travis Shaw lined out hard to center his first time up. Almost got over the head of Chris Owings out there. Marte will back well up on the outfield grass at second base, and Ahmed plays the first base side of second. This is hit to Souza in right, and that one gets to the wall. Yelich is home. Shaw's got an RBI double, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee.
I'm not sure what Travis Shaw is doing to the baseball when he makes contact, but he fooled Chris Owings in center field. CO barely made a leaping catch. This ball is squared up to right center field, and Steven Souza took a real shallow line toward the gap and then had to retreat back to the wall as that one got over his head.
Here's Domingo Santana. Fights off a fastball. Souza's out there under it. 2 outs.
Second baseman, Jonathan VR.
VR grounded out his first time up. Curveball for strike one. D-backs beginning play tonight, 2 games ahead of Colorado atop the NL West. The Rockies were almost no hit in San Diego today by the Padres' Jordan Lyles. Rockies lost 4-0.
Saw a little bit of that game this afternoon. Jordan Lyles looked like Doc Gooden in his prime today. Man, was he dealing.
And he's had a rough time of things the last several years, Jordan Lyles. That one kind of came out of nowhere. There it is. That was an afternoon game. Petco Park. Dodgers lost again. Marlins beat them 4-2 in Miami.
Was Justin Turner supposed to be back in the lineup tonight? I thought I heard somebody say he was in the lineup.
Things have not been going well for LA. Wei-Yin Chen beat Alex Wood.
Yeah, Justin Turner 1 for 4 today. Logan Forsythe 0 for 4. Both back off the disabled list.
Change up just below the knees. Greinke gets the call, and it's full 3-2. Called strike 3. Caught the corner, says Alan Porter, but the Brewers strike first. D-backs trail it 1-0. Doubles by Christian Yelich and Travis Shaw made it 1-0 Milwaukee. D-backs fans, if you can't watch the games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Download the free app, take Fox Sports Arizona and the D-backs with you wherever you go. So far for the Diamondbacks, only one hit. That was Peralta's single to lead off the ball game. Jhoulys Chacin has set down 7 straight. Now he's got a 1-0 lead as Daniel Descalso starts the D-backs 4th. He struck out his first time up, saw a whole bunch of changeups. Brewers have the shift on. Arcia, the shortstop, is actually out there in shallow right. He moves way over there. VR near the bag at second. Fastball missed, 2-1. Daniels hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games, hitting over .340 during that stretch. Slider spanked foul, and it's 2-2. Goldie in the cleanup spot tonight on deck. Yoelish Chacin won 13 games with the Padres last year and was finally healthy for a full season. 32 starts, a career high, and he parlayed that into a 2-year $15 million contract with the Brewers. Went back to that changeup. He's thrown that pitch less than 5% of the time this year, but we've seen it a whole bunch here tonight.
It could be just one of those nights where he's really feeling that pitch. He has a good release point on it. It's coming out of his hand the way he wants, and yeah, maybe he's just feeling that pitch tonight. Going to use it a lot more than he usually does.
Not feeling that fastball so much. A leadoff walk. Here comes Goldie.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Goldie walked his first time up tonight. Torey Lovullo wanted to give the lineup a different look. So Descalso bats third, Goldie bats fourth.
Well, this is not an unusual thing for Goldie. In his career, he's batted fourth 148 times. As a matter of fact, he did it 51 times last season.
They just have never had the lineup they envision having together all at one time. Jake Lamb hasn't played in more than a month. Souza missed the first month. Now AJ's down. Another changeup gets a strike call, 1-1.
This is a little hard to believe, but Goldie's actually had 14 starts in the 7 spot in the batting order. I would assume that was his first year, his first go round at the major league level, and they wanted to ease him in a little bit. But yeah, 14 starts in the 7 spot, 18 in the 6 spot. .686 in the 3-hole.
Is there a big difference in your mind between third and fourth?
There's no difference in my mind in any spot in the lineup. You're going to try to do the same things as a hitter. Get a good pitch to hit, put a good swing on it, take a walk if they don't throw you strikes. I mean, it's pretty much standard up and down the lineup. The situation may change depending on base runners and score.
That's a fair ball down the right field line. Goldie shoots it the other way. It's a long single as Descalso pulls in at third.
Very similar to the single that Goldie had last night. Our nationwide vision eye on the game. In and out, in and out. That time a 91-mile-an-hour heater, outer third of the plate, and as I mentioned, very similar to the knock Goldie got down the right field line last night.
Nationwide Vision Centers giving us our eye on the game. And here's Souza, who popped up to end the first. D-backs had a threat going there. First and second, 2 down. Another chance for Souza here. They're on the corners with nobody out. Roller to shortstop. Arcia, VR. And they turn 2. Descalso crosses home, and we're tied at 1.
Good to see the D-backs answer that Brewer run in the top half of the 4th inning with a run of their own here in the bottom. But once again, like we were talking about earlier, what seemed to be a promising inning, possibly a crooked number inning. They got 1 home, but now 2 outs, nobody on.
Ketel Marte grounded out his first time. That's just the way things have been going. You get runners in scoring position, you get an RBI ground ball, you get a sacrifice fly, a bases loaded walk, but you don't get that big 3-run double. Another changeup, another strike, 1-1. Well, so far so good for Goldie. Hit the ball well last night. Tonight a walk and a single.
I think Manny Pena called for some signs that Chacin doesn't even throw.
I don't have a screwball. Missed badly with a slider that time, and it's 2-2. Nick Ahmed on deck. You may remember Yoli Chacin briefly as a Diamondback, 5 games in 2015. Back-to-back sliders that got away from him. Full count, 3-2.
Well, Chacin has had stretches in his career where he's been a really, really good pitcher, but I think overall the descriptive term I would use is he's serviceable. That's you hear scouts say that a lot.
Slider got the corner for Alan Porter, but the D-backs get the equalizer. We're tied at 1. By the Arizona Lottery from home, along with all the fans and all of us here at Chase Field. Your chance to win half the pot here and help the kids in our community. Get your tickets online during every D-backs home game on Fox Sports Arizona at dbacks.com/5050 raffle, and the winning number gets revealed on the D-backs live post-game show. The catcher Manny Pena leads off the Milwaukee fifth against Zach Greinke. Pena grounded out his first time up. There's the slow curveball. It's 0-2. Pena last night had his 3rd consecutive 2-hit game. He doubled and scored a run. He's hit safely in 4 straight. Spiked a changeup, a ball and 2 strikes. Orlando Arcia, the shortstop, on deck. Pitcher spot after that. Left that slider up a bit. Brewers 1 run, 3 hits. D-backs 1 run, 2 hits. Full count, 3-2. Went with a curveball that time. Pena couldn't keep it fair.
With this season, this is where Zach has really been dominant, facing the 7, 8, 9 hitters in the opposing lineups. Of course, the 9 hitter is usually the pitcher, but the 7, 8, 9 spots in the lineup against Greinke this year, hitting 128. Take care of business when you should.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat coming up right here to Manny Pena. Left center, Owings on the run, and CO makes a sliding grab. Been tested out there a couple of times already tonight.
Yeah, able to slide on his feet that time to go after that ball rather than a headlong dive. Kind of reminiscent of Steve Finley back in the day. Steve Finley would never dive head first for a ball in the outfield, but he would go like that, like you're sliding into a base to protect himself, and make some fantastic plays like CO just did.
Here's Arcia. That's a curveball pulled foul. Nice play down there. That's Tom the Dark Knight Harvey. He's working left field, our Golden Glover down there. And there is the veteran Ron, don't call me Cliff Pennington, in right field.
Big slow curveball ripped foul down that third baseline. Heads up, the Dark Knight going up the ladder.
Fastball misses in. I know that was a big debate for a lot of D-backs fans last night and again today. Should AJ have dove for that ball, considering the circumstance late in the game, down 3? What do you think?
I think that opens up a real can of worms. How much hustle is enough? How much is too much? You know, the guys know one way to play the game. There are players that would not have tried to make this diving attempt, but AJ Pollock is not one of those guys. He's going to do whatever he can to make every play that comes his direction.
Well, there were a lot of fans wondering, boy, you know, you shouldn't dove. Look at the circumstance. Same thing happened to Susan, spring training. What are you doing? But as you say, do you want to pull back the reins like that on these guys?
And then, like I said, how far do you pull back? What do you do when a guy says, I just didn't want to hurt myself, so I didn't chase that ball that rolled up against the wall for an inside the park homer? Where do you draw the line? I mean, you'd like to think, especially experienced guys who have played the game a long time, can read game situations and know when to protect themselves and when to be a little more aggressive. But I still come back to the fact these guys are all tremendous competitors. They only know one way to play the game.
Full count, 3-2.
Boy, the 6th full count in the game already for Zach Greinke. Highly unusual.
And a Couple of long at bats in this 5th inning.
Now the first 5 full counts, he's gotten 2 strikeouts, 2 ground ball outs, and 1 fly out. But they've made him work hard.
Fastball hit to second base for Ketel Marte. Did you ever talk to Finns about making those sliding grabs in center as opposed to diving for it?
Just catch him. I don't care how you do it. You can do cartwheels and catch the ball. I don't really care. But you know, Steve Finley, over the course of his career, had just learned how to protect himself. He made every play that a center fielder would make. He just never really exposed himself with a headlong dive.
Now Gonzo was out there. He was diving at everything, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah. Even balls that weren't hit his way, he was diving.
So why is he on the ground? Well, the Brewers only have 3 hits so far against Zach Greinke, but Yoeli Chacin has one of them, a single in the 3rd. Zach at 80 pitches, 51 strikes. He's had to work awfully hard in this inning. There's a little pop up to Goldie. Bottom 5 on the way. We're tied at 1.
Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. On this day in 1941, Joe DiMaggio got a hit. Well, it was the first hit in his 56-game hitting streak.
That's why when you play Beat the Streak, you can win $5.6 million.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he got a hit today, and he didn't have an offer until July 17th. Every day.
How about that?
Every day. 22 multi-hit games in the 56.
Wow.
And then after his offer on July 17th, he cranked off 16 more after that. So he hit in 71 of 72 games.
Nick Ahmed. Jeff Mathis, Zach Greinke, 7-8-9 in the D-backs 5th against Yoeli Chacin.
Well, not only does Joe DiMaggio have the record for the longest hitting streak at the major league level, he also holds the Pacific Coast League record, 61 consecutive games with a base hit as an 18-year-old.
He had a great legacy in that league, as did Ken Williams, San Diego native. The interesting thing about that was DiMaggio that year in 41 with the 56-game streak won the American League MVP award. Ted Williams hit .406, led the league in home runs, and finished second.
Hang with him. It was that kind of year. What was that book? David Halberstam, did he write about the 1941 season? I think it was him.
He wrote a book called Summer of '49.
Okay.
when DiMaggio was at the very end of his career.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. There's a great book about that 1941 season and all the amazing things that happened.
Ahmed trying to bunt his way on. And the throw hits the bag. Aguilar can't find it. Nick's aboard. Chacin did a pretty good job to get to that ball, but a low throw has Ahmed in there.
Perfect bunt to the left side. Chacin, the only one that can make a play, and he makes a real good effort there, but his throw is back into the baseline. He bare hands, fires all in one motion. And the ball, as you said, actually hit the base and popped straight up in the air.
No ruling yet. They're going to give Chacin an error on that.
That's a tough one, man.
No, it's not a hit. E1, but you know, that's one of those that have a funny feeling will get changed down the road here. Here's Mathis.
Well, I'm not an official scorekeeper. I don't play one on television, but to me that takes an exceptional play to get Nick out at first base. And you know, usually a routine play that's booted, you can understand that should be an error. But if it takes an exceptional play to get the guy, then I think it should be a base hit.
Fly ball left field. Yelich on the warning track near the wall, and he's got it. Here's Zach Greinke. Shaw coming in on the grass at third base. Aguilar holding Ahmed on the bag at first. There goes Nick. Greinke gets the bunt down. Pena's on it. The yard covers, and they move Ahmed along.
It seemed like something got missed right there. Dave McKay talking to Zach Greinke on his way back to the dugout. I say that because Nick was on the move. He got a great jump down there at first base. If that ball would have been popped up in the air, it would have turned into an easy double play. I have to believe that either Greinke or Nick Ahmed, one or the other or both, missed a sign right there.
So it's Nick at second, 2 down for Peralta, who has singled and flied out. Fastball in the dirt. Pena lost it for a moment. 1-0.
You know, one thing about Nick being on the move on that sacrifice bunt attempt, it opened up an interesting possibility. When you see teams, especially playing those exaggerated shifts, occasionally it'll leave third base unoccupied. Yeah, watch Nick Ahmed. He's on the move over there at first base. Zach bunts the ball to the first base side. You can see Travis Shaw was in very near the walkway between home and the mound. If Nick saw that quickly, he could just make the turn at second and keep on going and win that foot race with Travis Shaw back to the bag.
Change up little low. Alan Porter says strike one. They could almost sense that moment of panic on the part of Shaw.
Uh-oh. Nobody's home.
There's nobody back there. 1-1. Another changeup. I think based on the reactions of the D-backs hitters, there's no way they were expecting this many changeups from Chacin tonight.
Well, as you said, he's only thrown it 5% of the time this year. You know, that's kind of a keep it in your back pocket pitch. If you have a long at bat where a guy fouls off several pitches, then maybe you show him a changeup, something he hasn't seen before. But Chacin is using it as a weapon tonight a lot.
D-backs with only 2 hits. Boy, that fastball's in a pretty good spot. Alan Porter didn't like it. Chacin wanted it. 2-2.
Well, you hold your breath on this one as a hitter. You know it's close.
Ahmed at second and 2 outs. Play on at second. Nick gets back in time as Arcia sneaks in there.
Well, we know the D-backs like to steal third base, but this wouldn't appear to be the right situation to attempt it. There's already 2 outs in the inning. David's got 2 strikes on him. Just hold your ground out there. Let him pick a pitch right here and hopefully drive you in.
See how close Arcia is staying to Nick Ahmed. Now he backs off. Little squib shot up the line. Chacin finds the bag in time. We head to the 6th inning, still tied at 1, the D-backs and the Brewers.
No matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Zach Greinke back out there for the start of the 6th inning. D-backs and Brewers are tied at 1. Milwaukee got doubles in the 4th by Christian Yelich and Travis Shaw. Greinke has retired all 5 he's faced since the Shaw RBI double, and now Lorenzo Cain 0 for 2. The leadoff man leads off the 6th. Cain is still hitless in the series. Back in Milwaukee, a 5-year, $80 million free agent deal. There's a low strike call from Alan Porter. That fastball was below the knees. 1-1. Zach had to work hard in the 5th inning, long at bats by Pena and Arcia, the 7 and 8 hitters. And so the pitch count is over 80 as we start the 6th. He's not walked a batter. He struck out 4, given up just 3 hits. Ahmed charges at shortstop. Cain can still run. That's 6 in a row set down by Greinke.
Boy, Nick makes that play look so easy when he has to come in on the ball, field, and get rid of it quickly, all in one motion. He does that as good as any shortstop in baseball, coming in on the ball. Especially with a speedy runner like Lorenzo Cain, you don't have a lot of time to set your feet, so he just fires on the move, gets plenty on the throw, and they just do get Cain down there at first.
Here's Yelich, who doubled and scored in the 4th. Slow curveball steals a strike. Do you think you have to watch a guy like Nick Ahmed almost day in and day out over the course of a long season to really appreciate how valuable that glove is out there?
I think so. I think baseball people, the scouts that sit down behind home plate and the guys that sit in the opposing dugout, they appreciate it quickly. But I think for the average fan to come out here and watch ball games day after day after day, you might not see Nick make those highlight reel plays, but he makes pretty much all the plays.
Chased a high fastball, 1-2. Shook off to the changeup again there. It stays 1-2. Yelich, a hot hitter, already 3 hits in this series. And he's batting nearly .340 in his last 14 games. Acquired in a trade in January from the Miami Marlins. Marlins 4-2 winners over the Dodgers today at Marlins Park. Curveball missed, 2-2. There's Hernan Perez and friends.
Oh boy.
Off the mound. And a ground ball out for Greinke.
Hey fans, a day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com.
I think Perez and Arcia go to the same stylist. You look great.
Watching the game on the monitor down there.
He's got that sumo wrestler top knot thing going. Aguilar 0 for 2. He's 0 for 7 in the series. Well, there's another one. We mentioned that the other day, or a moment ago, in fact. That pitch right in the center square there from Greinke.
He just doesn't throw many right there. At least certainly not intentionally. He's always around the bottom and the edges of the zone with everything.
This is driven out to right center field. It gets down and reaches the wall. Owings plays it off the carom. Aguilar has a 2-out double. Third double for the Brewers tonight. They've only got 4 hits.
Aguilar, big strong guy, gets a fastball near the outside corner of the plate, but covers it and drives it into that gap in right center field.
Well, Travis Shaw was in a similar situation in the 4th. The Brewers RBI leader. He had at that point Yelich at second base and 1 out, got the run in. Now he's up there with Aguilar at second and 2 down. D-backs have the shift on. Descalso near the bag at third, sorta. Shaw's a dangerous hitter. He's homered twice in his last 4 games. The Brewers cleanup man hit 31 home runs last year. The bromance continues.
It does.
Dude. I think he's saying, oh, yeah, to that guy back there, you should try the blonde thing on top. If that's some sort of a good luck thing for the Brewers, it could be a long year for Hernan Perez. He might not have a hair left at the end of the season. Fastball just missed inside for Alan Porter, and it's 3-1. Domingo Santana would be next. Greinke approaching 100 pitches. First walk issued by Zach tonight. And they'll work to Santana.
You mentioned Travis Shaw coming from a baseball family last night. His daddy Jeff Shaw was a really good closer at the major league level. Had a 340 save seasons. Led the league back in 1997 for the Cincinnati Reds with 42 saves. I remember Jeff Shaw as being a really good pitcher.
He was an all-star. White Sox, Indians, Dodgers, Expos, Reds. Here's Mike Butcher. And Travis has turned out to be a heck of a player himself. Well, trying to keep it a 1-1 ball game here. First and second, 2 down in the 6th inning. Bullpen is still quiet for the D-backs with Greinke at 98 pitches.
And that may have been a pitch around right there to Travis Shaw with a base open and a right-handed hitter in the on-deck circle. And they just want to make sure they know exactly how they're going to attack Domingo Santana in this at-bat.
Well, Santana is no pushover. He's hitting better than .330 in his last 17 games. Almost all of those starts. He's up there with 2 outs. Aguilar at second and Shaw at first. First pitch curveball, 0-1. Santana has got very good power, 30 homers last year. But he strikes out a ton, 3rd in the National League in strikeouts last season. Fastball away, it's 1-1. 100 pitches, 62 strikes. He has walked 1, he struck out 4. Went back to the curveball but missed. 2 balls and 1 strike. Looking at matchups. Fastball misses off the plate. 3-1. VR, the on-deck hitter. Foul tip. Alan Porter is signaling foul tip. Make it full 3-2. Here comes Craig Counsell.
The barrel of the bat drops down there at the very end. I'm not sure if it ever made contact with the baseball. If it did, it was right in front of the mitt.
He might have heard the bat hit the mitt.
Could have been.
And then heard the thump of the ball in the mitt. In any case, it's a full count, 3-2. 2 on and 2 out.
Of course, if the bat hit the mitt, it would be catcher's interference, and Santana would have been awarded first base.
Don't tell anybody.
No.
3-2. There go the runners. Got him! A curveball. Greinke strands 2. And we stay tied at 1.
Santana takes a first pitch curveball, and then Zach just kind of picks away at that outside corner with fastballs and curves. And then this was the changeup that was ruled a foul tip, which sets up another curveball for strike three. Big out in the game right there.
Our eye on the game brought to you by Nationwide Vision. Owings, Descalso, Goldie 2, 3, and 4 against Yoeli Chacin here in the home half of the 6th inning. CO 0 for 2 in center field tonight. Chris trying to get it going this month. He's 6 for 38 in May. 205 for the year. Well, Chris started out red hot last month. After opening day, put together an immediate 9-game hitting streak. They could use his bat right now.
You know, some of CO's at bats kind of dried up when Steven Souza Jr. came off the disabled list and took over right field pretty much on a daily basis. CO was getting a lot of playing time out in right field early this season.
Now it'll be he and Gerard Dyson holding down center field with AJ Pollock out with an avulsion fracture of his left thumb, 4 to 8 weeks. And you'll remember 2016 when AJ suffered that elbow injury. Chris played just under 50 games in center field, nearly all starts. Last season his outfield time was 25 games in right field. And we've seen him out there in left this year a couple of times prior to tonight. 2 and 2. There's that Chacin slider. Gets his 5th strikeout.
That has pretty much been his go-to pitch throughout his career. On a given night, he may be feeling the changeup like we've seen tonight. Other nights, he can just pound the bottom of the zone with that sinker. But usually when his back's against the wall and he needs to make a big pitch, it's going to be that hard slider, especially to a right-handed hitter.
Descalso has struck out, walked, and scored a run. D-back still with only 2 hits. Into the shift. Arcia, the shortstop from the outfield grass, throws him out. That's a 6-3 putout from right field. 2 outs. Oh, Goldie has walked in single tonight. Shot one the other way down the right field line his last time up for a long single. VR, the second baseman, moves over to the shortstop side of the bag. 3 infielders on the left side. And Yelich is way off the line in left. They give Goldie all of left field. Yelich is almost in center. And look how far Kane is over, standing in front of the pool. Slider low, but it's a strike, 1-1. Feeling that slider here.
I was just going to say, if you're going to play this kind of an exaggerated opposite field shift, it would behoove your pitcher to work Goldie away, away, away. If you make any kind of mistake on the inside part of the plate, he's likely to pull that ball to left field.
Looked like Chacin tried a quick pitch there, but threw it about 40 feet. Well, Goldie hit a couple of balls out there last night to right field, right center.
This is as far around the right field as I've ever seen anybody play Goldie.
I agree. It's amazing how far off the line Yelich is. He's almost in center field. Another slider. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Chacin. We head to the 7th, still 1-1. D-backs and Brewers tied up as we start the 7th. A reminder, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, and that lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. There are blackout and other restrictions, so check out MLB.tv. That's where they'll have all those details for you, the fine print, all that stuff. Yoshihisa Hirano on to work the 7th inning. His 21st appearance of the year.
See those last two columns there, inherited runners percentage and first batter effectiveness. Those are really important numbers for relief pitchers. Certain guys will come in with runners on base because their numbers with inherited runners are really good. Other guys start the inning clean because their first batter effectiveness is very good.
Yoshi came on in the 7th inning last night in relief of Patrick Corbin. Faced one batter, Orlando Arcia. Got him to hit into a fielder's choice, so he only threw 4 pitches in the game last night. Jonathan Villar looks at a fastball. He's 0 for 2. Splitter in the dirt. Rockies have lost at San Diego. They were almost no hit by Jordan Lyles of the Padres. 4-0 the final at Petco Park. Dodgers 4-2 losers in Miami. Right now the Giants at home trail the Reds 3-1. They're in the 4th. Pretty good West Coast swing for Cincinnati. They swept 4 in LA.
Yeah, with a win tonight, the Reds are 5-1 against the West this year.
How about that? Manny Pena, the catcher, on deck. Lays off the split finger pitch, and it's full 3-2. Got him on the splitter.
You saw the 2 there from Jeff Mathis. Hirano only throws 2 pitches, a fastball and a splitter. So 1's the fastball, 2's the splitter.
Let's not overcomplicate things.
Yeah, let's keep it simple.
Here's Pino for 2. Pretty good fastball there. Alan Porter didn't like it. It's 2-0. Former D-back Matt Albers warming up in the Milwaukee bullpen. Off the glove of Goldie, it trickles into right field, and Pena's got a 1-out single.
Manny Pena making the most of his opportunity. Been a career backup guy, but Jonathan Lucroy gone and Jet Bandy not doing much with the bat. Manny Piña's gotten the bulk of the playing time behind the plate, done a great job.
He's now hit safely in 5 straight. Here's Arcia, who has grounded out twice. Broken bat, one hopper. Ahmed Marte, and they roll it. We stretch in Phoenix. It's 1-1. Field inexpensively this summer. It's the Ballpark Summer Pass. It's back again this year. And when you buy the Summer Pass online at dbacks.com/summer, you get a ticket to every home game in June, July, and August, plus the Memorial Day series at the end of the month, all for only $80. That's right, 40 home games, $80. This is the best deal in baseball. If you haven't purchased your Ballpark Summer Pass yet, you got to get going. They're running out. dbacks.com/summer. Jhoulys Chacin works into the 7th inning for the first time all year. Steven Souza Jr., Ketel Marte, Nick Ahmed do up 5, 6, and 7 for the D-backs, who still have only 2 hits. Souza has popped up and hit into a double play, 0 for 2. Chacin has been very economical. He's walked 2. He's got 6 strikeouts. Only at 86 pitches as we get underway here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's another pop up on that slider. Who wants it? Shaw calling for it, and he's got it.
Hey, fans, receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casinos.
Archie Bradley getting loose in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Chacin has now retired 7 straight for the 2nd time in the ballgame. Marte 0 for 2. Tries to bunt his way on. That brings in Shaw from 3rd, but got the changeup, and it's 1-1. Jhoulys Chacin had one outstanding start for the Padres against the D-backs last year. That was April 19th at Petco Park. You might remember 8 scoreless innings. He gave up only 3 hits. He's been nearly as good tonight. In that game, when he was still with San Diego, he retired the final 14 batters he faced. But then the D-backs hit Chacin pretty hard in a couple of subsequent starts last year, both right here at Chase Field. This is chopped. Aguilar way off the bag at first and makes a nice throw to Chacin. They get Marte.
That's the second time Jolie Chacin has gotten over there in good shape. Looks away from the ball to find the base and just does get there ahead of Ketel Marte. Great field awareness by the pitcher, running over there trying to avoid the runner, find the bag, find the baseball. Nice job that time.
Nick Ahmed reached on a Chacin throwing error, trying to bunt his way on for a base hit his last time up. That was to lead off the fifth. Now he's up there with 2 outs in the seventh. Fastball off the plate. Chacin at 92 pitches. His high for the year is 102. That was last month when he went 6 innings, scoreless innings against the Marlins. The only time all year he's been over 100 pitches.
Well, with his spot due to lead off in the top half of the 8th inning, you got to believe this is it for Chacin with that Brewers bullpen locked and loaded the way they are.
Yeah, before Arcia hit into that double play to win the top half of this inning, Jet Bandy was out in the on-deck circle set to hit for Chacin. Now Pena will use a mound visit here. Bradley continues warming up in the D-back bullpen. Alan Porter marks down the visits. Now D-backs have 4 remaining. D-backs last night 2 runs, only 5 hits. Tonight just 1 run on 2 hits. Floats a baby slider up there, and it's even 2-2. Boone Logan, the left-hander, went back to the slider. Jolie Chacin, that's 9 straight he's set down. We're still tied at 1. And it's the 8th inning. The D-backs will bring in the beard. Archie Bradley coming in. One. This summer the World Cup is coming to Fox at FS1. Every match live, over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. Archie Bradley on to start the 8th inning, and the backup catcher Jet Bandy will hit for the pitcher Chacin. Boy, Alicia Scene was terrific for Milwaukee. 7 innings, just 1 run on 2 hits allowed. He walked 2, struck out 7, and set down the final 9 he faced. 22nd appearance of the year for Archie. And here's Bandy hitting for Chassin. Now Bandy is the backup catcher, so as we progress here after this at bat, should anything happen to Manny Pena, Hernan Perez would have to be pressed into service as the emergency catcher.
You think he'll be able to fit that man bun under a mask?
Watch your top knot. 0-2. There it is. With blonde highlights. That's skied third base side. Descalso's under it. And now here's the top of the order, the leadoff man Lorenzo Cain. Cain is 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 7 in the series. Came into this series riding a 5-game hitting streak. Get off me.
Tailing action on that fastball. Pulls it over into the on-deck circle on the third base side.
Comes back in there with that fastball. Archie coming off that appearance Sunday night against Washington when he came on tie game, gave up that home run to Mark Reynolds. 96 right by him, 2 outs.
Boy, you talk about setting up a strike 3 pitch right there. Archie Bradley with that mid to upper 90s fastball, just pounding away at the inside part of the plate here on Lorenzo Cain. Stood him up right there with 95 and then paints the outside corner with 96.
Our nationwide vision eye on the game. Christian Yelich doubled and scored the Brewer run in the 4th. There's a first pitch curveball, 0-1. Boone Logan still warming up in the Brewer bullpen. Now he's joined by the right-hander Taylor Williams, who worked in the ball game last night. Another curveball from Archie, 2-1.
Temperature just went up a few degrees in the Brewers bullpen. Both those guys throw gas.
Everybody back there, it seems, does. They have an excellent relief corps in Milwaukee. Guys like Jeff Fresh, Hader, Knable, a lot of hard throwers.
Yeah, we saw Williams last night. He was consistently 96, 97 with his fastball.
Aguilar would be next. 2-2 on Yelich. They brought in the Beard. 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. Still tied at 1.
But Brandon, at some point in the postgame show, we will talk about Zach Greinke's performance, right?
No doubt about it. Again, 4 starts before today. Looked outstanding tonight again, using all his pitches, painting that outside corner most of the night. Great job.
All right, don't forget Diamondbacks Live right when this game ends, but there's still more baseball to be played. Steve and Bob, bring it home. Send it back to you.
All right, guys, thanks. Torey Lovullo looking for some offense here. His team still with only 2 hits. And the right-hander Taylor Williams, who worked a 1-2-3 9th inning last night, comes on to work the 8th. He's got 22 strikeouts in 14 innings this year. Mathis leads it off. Avila is in the on-deck circle, set to hit for Archie Bradley. 95 inside. 0-1. Jeff has struck out, flied out 0 for 2. Avila with a hit for Bradley. David Peralta behind him. Off the plate at 97. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Right now, Torey Lovullo is just hoping for a base runner. If Jeff Mathis happens to get on, I would imagine we would see Jarrod Dyson run for him. Get some speed on the bases, hopefully scoot him around there and get him on the plate.
Brad Boxberger is kind of sort of starting to get loose down there in the bullpen just in case they take the lead. 2-2 on Jeff Mathis. '97 misses away and it's full. Mr. Zumbai is starting to get loose down there just in case. Get those wheels going. This is upstairs. Go ahead and runs aboard to start the 8th. Avila will come back to the dugout now as Dyson will run for Mathis. And John Ryan Murphy will hit. So here's Murphy, 231 and 3 homers.
$18 stolen bases against Manny Pena this season, 13 successful steals. Pena does have a big arm back there behind the plate. You see Dyson get a big jump against Williams.
Shaw halfway in from third.
Almost threw that one away.
John Ryan singled and walked in his start behind the plate last night. 1 for 12 as a pinch hitter this year. Dyson holds. Murphy pops up the bunt attempt. So this means in the top of the 9th inning, Boxberger will get Aguilar, Shaw, and Santana 3, 4, and 5 for Milwaukee. He's taking his time down there. He doesn't need very many pitches to get hot. Shaw creeping in again from third. Dyson is back again. Dave McKay coaching at first. Here comes Shaw from third, halfway in, and again they throw over. Dyson holds. Murphy bunts it foul. Tony Parachica coaching at third.
See if Torrey chooses to stick with the sacrifice bunt attempt with John Ryan Murphy, or if he turns him loose here with 2 strikes.
There comes Shaw again from third, and again Dyson is back safely. Dyson holding again. Murphy gets the bunt down. Shaw has to go to first.
That was the 15th sacrifice bunt attempt of the season for the Diamondbacks, and John Ryan Murphy gets the 10th successful bunt down out of those 15 attempts. Had to bunt a pitch up around head high to move Dyson into scoring position.
Craig Counsell going to his bullpen. D-backs have the go-ahead run in scoring position in the 8th inning. field. Pitching change here in the 8th inning. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Getaway day game tomorrow. Then it's off on a long road trip. Matt Cook gets the baseball for the D-backs against Milwaukee's Brandon Woodruff. D-backs live pregame show comes your way at high noon on Fox Sports Arizona. After that, it's off to New York, Milwaukee, and Oakland. Left-hander Boone Logan on to face David Peralta. Gerard Dyson, the go-ahead run at second, and one out here in the 8th. Logan coming off the 10-day DL, had a left triceps problem. Last worked Friday in Colorado. Former Rocky. Slider, swing and a miss for Peralta, who singled to lead off the ball game. One of only 2 Diamondback base hits tonight. Goldie's single in the 4th, the other one. Diamondbacks on this homestand. 4 for 31 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 4 tonight. On the ground of VR at second. Dyson advances. They retire Peralta. Chris Owings 0 for 3, the center fielder tonight. Go ahead runs at third with 2 outs. They're going to walk him with a left-hander. Descalso on deck and Logan out there. And so CO gets the free pass. Descalso walked and scored the D-backs run in the 4th. He's 0 for 2.
Well, we know Daniel Descalso has been some kind of clutch this season. Going to be tough duty against a tough left-hander in Boone Logan.
Dyson's home, and it's 2-1 D-backs. Descalso does it again.
Well, you can't really fault manager Craig Counsell for going with the lefty-on-lefty matchup, but as I said, we know Daniel Descalso has been clutch all season. He's clutch once again. Our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing cool play of the game. Go ahead RBI on a base hit into right field.
Craig Counsell back to the mound. Goldie coming up. He wants a right-hander. The D-backs another clutch 2-out RBI hit from Descalso. They lead it 2-1. Back after this. RBI single has made it 2-1 D-backs, and on to face Paul Goldschmidt. It's the right-hander Jorge Lopez, who has already been up and down from AAA Colorado Springs 3 times this year.
For the Diamondbacks this season, go-ahead RBIs in a ball game. AJ leads the team with 12 go-ahead RBIs. Daniel Descalso now with 7.
He's got it done all year long. Let's go Goldie. He has walked, singled, and struck out tonight. 1 for 2. Owens is at second, Descalso at first. 2 outs and a run is home.
Quick set of signs from Manny Pena to let his infielders know where he's going to throw the ball should the Diamondbacks attempt a double steal.
Goldie 3 for 26 this year with runners in scoring position. Fastball is inside, 1-0. John Ryan Murphy, who was used as a pinch hitter, puts the gear on in the dugout after Mathis was pinch run for. Dyson wound up scoring the go-ahead run. One and one. Been an RBI drought for Goldie. 1 run batted in his last 21 games. VR has it at second. And Lopez strands 2, but the D-backs take the lead. Daniel Descalso. How many times can he come through? He's made it 2-1 Diamondbacks. As we start the 9th inning, now time for Lowe's whole team together. This would be the Diamondbacks' 12th come from behind win this year. That would be second in the National League behind the Philadelphia Phillies. New battery for the D-backs, Brad Boxberger on in the 9th inning with a 1-run lead. John Ryan Murphy takes over behind the plate. Descalso comes out, replaced at third by Devin Marrero. And Gerard Dyson checks in at center field. Jesus Aguilar doubled his last time up, 1 for 3. He'll lead off the 9th for Milwaukee. D-backs with only 3 hits, but they lead it 2-1. Don't see a whole lot of breaking balls from Brad Boxberger. That one missed there, 2-0. Aguilar, Shaw, Santana, 3, 4, and 5 in the Milwaukee 9th. 3-1. D-backs, if they can hang on, would pick up a game on the Rockies. Colorado was almost no hit tonight in San Diego. Padres beat them 4-0. That was earlier today. But most importantly, they would finally snap this now 6-game losing streak. Full count, 3-2. Called strike 3. That was in there, says Alan Porter. Aguilar can't believe it. He was halfway up the line.
It appeared to be a good pitch from Brad Boxberger right out there on the outside corner. Yeah, maybe a hair off. I think I know where Craig Counsell thinks that pitch was.
What makes you say that? Travis Shaw, an RBI double in the 4th. He walked his last time up. D-backs have 3 infielders on the right side. Popped it straight up in the air. Murphy settling in underneath. It's off the glove. And Shaw's aboard at first.
John Ryan Murphy will get hung with the air, but one of his corner infielders got to help him on this ball. That's far enough out into the infield that Goldie and or Devin Marrero, either one, should have called off the catcher and made the play there.
So many times to see those pop-ups spin back toward the infield on the catchers. Here is Santana. Hernan Perez will run it first for Travis Shaw. Fastball missed. Santana 0 for 3, struck out twice against Zach Greinke. Way out in front of the changeup, and it's 1-2. Right field for Souza. 2 down. Jonathan VR 0 for 3. Last man standing for Milwaukee. Brandon Webb, Todd Walsh standing by. D-backs live post-game show follows our ball game. Trying to snap the losing streak at 6. High changeup, and it's 1-0. VR homered to lead off the 9th inning last night. Another changeup got away. 2 balls and no strikes. Fastball missed. 3-0. The catcher Pena on deck. Full count, 3-2. There goes Perez. Called strike 3. And the D-backs win it 2-1. The losing streak ends at 6.
Amen. Boy, real team effort tonight. The offense once again scuffled to get runners on base, and when they did have runners on base, they couldn't get them on the plate. Daniel Descalso once again with the big knock in the 8th inning. Pitching staff did a great job.
Not a whole lot of offense, but it was just enough. Back with much more from Chase Field. D-backs beat the Brewers 2-1.